For the second video in a row, no, we're not going to talk about this. It's just something that we live with now. It's part of my personality. And like, yes, I could wear a hat, but I also hate myself in hats. So we're just substituting one negative for another negative. And honestly, that's just my life at this point. But to distract you from whatever this is, I thought with everything going on, the fact that you really can't leave your house only like for essential travel, I would give you some things that I've been watching either like on Netflix, Hulu, or really any of like the 18 streaming platforms that exist out now. I really don't think I have like too big of a plan for this video though, because it's not going to be like my favorites, because I've already done that. It's not going to be like my top 5 of anything. It's just going to be things that I've just been watching that I really enjoy, or that I either like found that are a little bit older, or even that I'm re-watching just because I feel like I've watched everything on Netflix or any of the other streaming sites. So we'll see how this goes. This video could be like 2 recommendations, it could be like 20 recommendations. We'll just have to see how much I want to talk. Which honestly, with how many like people I haven't been talking to and like the social interaction, I found myself like when I am talking to a person like online, or even like when I have a friend over, I like talk their ear off because I haven't been talking to like anyone. But without further ado, the first thing that I've been watching, which actually just ended, and I'm not okay emotionally because it ended, but it's Schitt's Creek. Now the show got a lot of attention, I think like at the end of the 4th season, maybe like beginning of the 5th season, and they ended on 6, which like just aired earlier this week. And I know 1 through 5 is on Netflix right now, so if you want to go watch all those, it's an amazingly funny show. I really enjoy it. It's like one of my favorite TV shows out there right now. Mostly because I like the situational comedy, kind of like the you have to be there. It's like the everyday type of comedy, similar to like Modern Family, but it just does it in like a more dry way, which I just love. And without spoiling anything, which I promise I'll do none of that this video, but after the season finale aired, and I'm sure you can find it somewhere online, because it seems pretty like accessible for everyone, but they did like a little hour documentary about like the show, the impact the show had, like why they decided to end it when they did, and all this other stuff that like I would never have known if they didn't do that. But it made me have like a new appreciation, not only for the show, but for the actors, the writers, the producers, and like just everything about the show that I just found so amazing. So the next one is an older movie, but like it just came out on Netflix, and I know my cousin Tori, she's watched it a million times. She loves it. She loves the book that it's based on, but it's Perks of Being a Wallflower. Now, I don't know what it is, maybe just because I didn't watch too many like coming-of-age films when I was younger, so now I'm like, alright, I'm finding myself, let's do this, let's watch these movies. But Perks of Being a Wallflower is just like a real coming-of-age film, and I know like that is the point for coming-of-age films, but this one is just so well done and like so emotional, but still also happy at the end. It's very weird, a really big emotional roller coaster ride, so definitely only watch it like if you're in the mood to feel all those feelings. But Tori, if you're watching this, I did end up watching it. It was amazing. I love it. One of my favorite movies. I feel like whenever I do these videos, it's just like one random sentence that I just kind of rant all the way through, and then I'm like, and watch it if you haven't already. So I think it's working. You know, I guess in a way it just kind of like gives the idea that you should look into it. So it works. Alright, on to what number am I on? I feel like I've just been ranting. I'm on number 3, okay. Number 3 is a documentary that was just added to Netflix like maybe a month ago, and it's called Kripp Camp, and it's basically a documentary about like the start of the disability rights movement, and it follows the lives of the people who like started it, where they got their beginning, which is like the camp that they all went to as children, the little details that like you wouldn't ever know unless you talk to these people or like had a documentary like this. And I think it's such a good film, not only because it shows a movement that usually isn't talked about either like in history class or anything like that, but also helps to like normalize disability and like how we talk about it, or what we talk about it when we do, or anything like that. So I really just give props to the filmmakers for making such an amazing movie. Here's that little line, if you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. Alright, the next couple, I don't know how many I'm gonna do because there's so many shows on the platform that like I want to watch. So the next couple are gonna be from Disney Plus, and I really don't know how many of these I'm gonna do for Disney Plus because I can just go through and just name like all the nostalgic shows that I've watched or the movies, but I'll try to keep it to a minimum. But in trying to keep it things that just came out, One of my other recommendations is Onward, which is Disney's newest like animation film, and they put it on Disney Plus really early because of what's going on and all that kind of stuff. And before I watched it, I didn't really hear too much about it because it was in theaters like when this all started, and I didn't really hear either positively or negatively, so I went into it not really knowing anything about the story or any of the reviews, and I ended up really liking it. The story is really creative. It does that like magic thing with like modern technology, but kind of goes back to that like wizarding stuff. And the premise of the story being Pixar, of course, it's going to be really emotional, and I liked how they handled all that emotion, and especially the end, which I won't give anything away, but the end is just so well done, and I really like it. And in keeping with that like animation, emotional type film, one of my all-time favorite movies is WALL-E, which is of course on Disney Plus. And if you haven't watched it, or like me, you haven't watched it in a couple of years, please do yourself the favor and watch it. It's just about a little robot trying to save the world, and isn't that just what we need right now? But it's a really cute movie, really well done. I like it because the film nerd in me is coming out, but like it's almost done with no dialogue between like the main characters, which I just think is such an accomplishment for the filmmakers. So if you take anything away from this little like rant that I'm doing with all these films, please just go watch that one. That one's my favorite. Now with Disney Plus being so like expansive and going back to like when I grew up with Disney, there's a lot of shows that like I watched when I was younger, but I don't think I really like appreciated them for how good they were, or even just like how cute and like entertaining they are. And so my next one is The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Now I know this is like a widely popular show, as much with like any other old school Disney Channel show, but this one is so entertaining, and I didn't realize how entertaining it was until I started watching it. Like, I've gone through like 40 episodes in the past couple days, only because when an episode ends, I'm like, ooh, I should watch just one more, and then just another one, and then just another one. And like, some of the jokes are meant for like older adults, and so it's cool to like go back and watch that and catch things that like I didn't either get as a child or that I wasn't paying attention to because I was just sitting there just blankly staring at the TV. So if you need something just easy and fun to put on in the background, definitely any of the Disney Channel like old shows, but specifically Sweet Life. Alright, I think this one is my last recommendation, and I didn't realize how much this would turn into like a Disney Plus ad. But let's just throw out that Disney Plus isn't sponsoring me, but Disney of course is really good at just hitting the nostalgia really hard. So a lot of my recommendations actually just came from this. But my very last recommendation is Saving Mr. Banks. It's definitely a hidden gem in like all of the Disney library, but it's such a good film, and I keep on like coming back to it every so often, like every couple of years when I do find it. Either I knew it was on Netflix for a little bit, but now of course it's permanently on Disney Plus. And it's basically a fictionalized version of the real life making of the film Mary Poppins. That was a lot of words. Basically it's a fake documentary about the making of Mary Poppins. So it follows Walt Disney trying to contact and negotiate with the author of like the original Mary Poppins books, and kind of her childhood, her life, and how that influenced the Mary Poppins books and film that we know and love. And then also going through like the filmmaking process and the struggles and the triumphs that they faced, all leading to like the film that is a Disney classic. And it just gives such a different appreciation for that film, and it's just an all-around really cute, really well done movie. Alright, so now you know what I do if I'm not doing this or school. It's just sitting right here in my bed just staring at the TV for like 8 hours a day. But definitely let me know down below what you're watching, what platform you're watching, or anything like that. And of course, as always, I'll see you next week, Ring.